Good morning. Welcome to 1 Million Cups. Wow, I'm loud this morning. That's a lot of coffee. Nice little video there. We got our very own Ben Brick that did that logo. Yeah. I love that. Welcome, welcome. So nice to see so many familiar faces today. Any new people here at 1 Million Cups? Somebody that has never been here before? Oh, look at that. 3, 4. I think we got at least 4 or 5. Welcome, welcome. Well, we are going to tell you a little bit about what you're doing here, or what your friend roped you into, or however you came to be here this morning. So what is 1 Million Cups? Well, every Wednesday morning at 8:30, we get together right here, and we put an entrepreneur, a community builder, somebody that's doing something cool in Bismarck, Mandan, on this stage, and we'll let them tell us their story. And then we, the audience, get to interact with them a little bit and do some Q&A afterwards, and really help lift them up. And so the whole point is, can we basically change the face of our startup community over 1 million cups of coffee? So, and I think Carl's here. Carl counted the cups of coffee for many years. I think maybe we've lost track, but it's a lot. We've had a lot of great conversations over a lot of cups of coffee here at 1 Million Cups, and you guys are a huge part of that. So thank you for being here. All right, there are a number of companies, actually a large number, 3 slides worth of companies and individuals that help us make this happen every week. As you can imagine, putting together an event every single week with a group of volunteers it's a lift. And so thanks to our organizing committee and the companies on these 3 slides that help provide some human resources that let their employees come help us out, those sorts of things, or some financial support that helps us buy coffee and rent the theater. These folks are doing that for us. So if you see these guys, give them a high five, hug, whatever everybody's comfortable with. Let them know that their support is appreciated. And I should introduce myself too. I'm Evan Anderson with Gizmonics. Sorry, I got so many new people here. Okay, as I mentioned, we are going to do a Q&A at the end. So as these 2 are speaking this morning, be thinking about some questions that you'd like to ask, questions that might challenge them a little bit, or just satisfy your curiosity. So be thinking about those questions. Ross is here. He's going to be running our big mug microphone around, and you can get those questions asked. So, all right, we have a lot of community announcements this morning. First and foremost, National Day. We always like to celebrate every day, and the National Day today is National Swap Ideas Day. And from what I saw in the lobby up there this morning, I think a lot of good ideas are getting swapped. So, and there was an envelope getting swapped back here too. I'm not quite sure what that was all about, but I didn't ask, yeah. So thought that was super appropriate for what we do here at 1 Million Cups. So keep it alive all day, swap ideas. Okay, Janya.
So you also probably chatted with Mark when you first came in this morning, and so if you're an old-time 1 Million Cuppers, you know all about the mug stickers and the mug club and all of that. And in 2025, we introduced a Bring a Friend special green sticker, which was a fast track to swag. Well, today, we have someone who has achieved the fast track and gotten an award that we have never, ever offered before, and that is our Community Builder Award. And so I would like to welcome Judy Daniels down here to accept her Community Builder Award. So Judy, what you have won is this custom one. You will be the only person to have the
in the world
in this building to have this 1 Million Cups backpack. Inside, well, this is a little card for you, but you can read that later and cry. I'm just kidding. And inside, as a community builder, you have a 1 Million Cups hard hat, a little construction cone, and a 1 million cups safety vest. So you do not have to wear them every week when you come, but if you did, I would be really happy. Okay. And so would the rest of us, right? Oh, and speaking of stickers, there's some 1 million cup stickers in the side.
Okay.
Okay.
Very cool. Thank
All
you.
right.
Let's give it up for Judy. She's got a community announcement too. I don't know if you want to say a word or two about why you're such an avid supporter of this. I mean, you are just amazing for this program, and we really appreciate it. So I don't know if you want to, I didn't tell you that we were going to do this, but thank you.
So I started coming back when my daughter was participating in National Lemonade Day. And so she got to be a presenter here on stage. And so I just thought it was really cool to see her come and present, and that was during COVID. And so I just saw the value in it. And so I just started coming ever since then. And like I said, I've met a lot of people here. A lot of relationships have been built, a lot of networking. It's just been really great to see like what's going on in our community. So I just really am a big fan and supporter of this.
Thank you. And I'm not sure if I put the slide in the right order. I didn't. So if you want to just, I know, too many things. I was talking too much this morning. All right. So library. Do you want to?
Tyler wasn't feeling well this morning. Otherwise, he usually speaks for the library. But this is September is library card sign up. All right, show of hands. How many of you have your library card? Oh, good. Okay, if you're sitting next to somebody who did not raise their hand, give them a little nudge and tell them why you have a library card and why it's super cool. All right. And Tracy, I saw you raise your hand, and she's from the Catskills and works at the library up there, so she has her card. Just not get your library card.
Hello, Michael Fink, Silicon Plains. Tomorrow is our parking lot party, so if you wander over to our office there at 2219 East Main Avenue, we will have food, we will have drinks, we will have music, we will have fun. 4 to 6, maybe later, probably later. I think the next slide is me too. No, it's not. Okay. That's okay. I'm gonna interrupt for a second. We also have our monthly AI webinars that are going on. So if you go to our website and events, it will have a list of past webinars and also future webinars related to AI and how to implement it in your business.
Thank you. Jordan.
Good morning, everybody. Jordan Weichel with No Brains, No Headache, and we have a comedy show coming into the Bell Mayhouse Auditorium. That's this Saturday, September 13th. Doors at 7, show at 8, and I'm flying in John Kennedy all the way from New York City. Okay, people? He does this for a living. So this isn't your just average Joes talking about genitalia on stage. We're going to have somebody from New York do it instead. So it's going to be a good time. You're going to go down to the street fair. It's going to rain on Saturday. You're going to be like, what am I going to do with my day? You're going to go down to the Bell Mayhouse and support No Brains, No Headache, because we are a local entity bringing stand-up comedy here to Bismarck because you guys need to laugh, okay? Winter is coming, and we need to laugh it out. So once again, that's Saturday. John Kennedy is going to be there. I will be hosting. We have David Standel from Fargo, North Dakota. We have Samson Hurley and Matt Cleary from Bismarck, some local guys. And then we're going to have some live music there for you guys to enjoy while you get seated. So plenty of seats left. Scan the QR code. Check out No Brains, No Headache. You can go buy tickets the day of as well. It's a great venue. If you haven't been to the Bell Mayhouse in a while, it's awesome to go see a show there. And also, this is my last 1 million cups today. So I just want to say thank you to all the organizers for welcoming me with open arms, and to everybody attending. Thank you for making 1 million cups what it is. I will surely miss you guys, and I'll be somewhere warm. So don't come visit me, but I'll come back. But come check out the show. We'd appreciate the support, trying to bring comedy to Bismarck. And thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you, Jordan. We're going to miss you, Jordan. Come back often and stay. Okay, this is Marlowe's. This, I think, is tied to the Music Hall of Fame. So this is on September 28th, the Dakota Music Crawl at Dykeshorn Park, downtown Mandan. That is going to be really fun time. We got a QR code there if you want to give that a look. Finally.
So Sanford Home Care is partnering with the Alzheimer's Association to offer community education on supporting independence and exploring care and support services. And this will be held on October 1st at the Dream Center from 2 to 4. So I encourage all of you to attend.
Thank you. All right. There's another one. I think she didn't make it. So Caitlin was going to be here and speak to this slide. Caitlin with You Mary. This is a program called Leadership North Dakota. I don't know if you've heard of it. It is a leadership program that You Mary put together starting about 7 years ago. I think we're just heading into cohort 7 next year. Awesome program. Little bit self-serving there. Jani and I actually teach the curriculum for this program. This will be our 5th year, and it has been amazing to see with these cohorts how they come together. It's capped at 16 people, and these folks get to travel all around the state together. They get to learn things. We do a little bit of classroom stuff, but a lot of it is getting out into communities. We've been on oil rigs. We've been on out at the coal mine. We've been up on the drag line. We've been in a line of SUVs going right down the middle of the tarmac at Williston's new airport. Just an amazing host of experiences that they put together that you wouldn't otherwise be able to have. And just seeing the personal and professional growth that these people get over the course of the 6 months is really staggering. So I would highly recommend, if you're interested or if you know somebody, please look into this. The applications are open right now. I'm going to jump back for a second. I want to take us back to January of 2024. I don't know if any of you were here, but we had someone on stage called Sister Adele Batt who was telling us about Stepping Stone Ministries, this project that she was very passionate about, offering a place for people being discharged from hospitals who weren't really ready to be out yet, but they couldn't stay in the hospital anymore. And she had found a facility. They were just making plans for all the construction. They were going to open in November of 2024. And then in October of 2024, in the middle of all their construction, the place burned down. And it was just a major reset. And, wow, mood. Thanks, Adam. And she's part of the family here, right? In fact, we met Sister Adele as part of our Leadership North Dakota program. We had coffee with the sisters one morning as a cohort, and it was wonderful. We met her and had been really following her journey. And when this tragedy happened, I guess I wasn't worried. I knew that you were going to find a way out, but that was a really big setback. Emotionally and financially and everything else. Well, I just got an email from Sister Adele yesterday with a couple of really exciting community announcements. So Sister Adele, would you please come up and speak to these for me?
We are finally going to be open to start taking patients from the hospital October 1st, in no small part thanks to ideas that came forth from this group. We couldn't have done it without you. So we would like to invite you all to come and see what your ideas brought forth. We will have a public open house from 1 to 4 on Sunday, September 28th in our new facility, which is 112 South 24th Street. It's the old Railway Credit Union building. It's right behind Bismarck Motor Motel and across the street from AmVets. You're welcome to come tour the building, but on the following day, we also invite you to a ribbon cutting ceremony in front of the building at 3:30. So we hope you can make it.
Yay, let's give it up for Sister Adele. I'm really excited. I'm already working on her to get her back on stage and tell us a little bit about that journey. I covered that in a very short period of time, and I'm sure it doesn't feel like a short period of time. So we'll let you get your feet under you, and then we'll invite you back up here because we'd love to hear that. I think it's a very inspiring story of most of our entrepreneurs have certainly seen their ups and downs, but that was pretty good in the down department there. And here you are. So congratulations. I know we're going to be there for sure. So, okay, we have one more community announcement, and it looks like a cucumber.
I'm sorry, I forgot when I was up here earlier. It's cucumber season, so please help yourself on your way out. Leave the zucchini for Ross. He called dibs. I'm kidding. There's 2 zucchinis hiding in there, but if you left them, Ross would be really happy. But please adopt these lovely organic. They're not pickling ones. They're slicing ones. They're very yummy, and they need a good home. And they double as cell phones and so many other paperweights. They're just lovely. So please help yourself.
All right. So finally, any other community announcements? Anything we didn't get to? All right, so finally we can have Amy and Brittany join us here on stage and tell us a little bit more about Bella Health and Wellness. I don't know, it's easy for me to say. Come on up, guys.
Be in charge of the
Sure. All right, good morning. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Super. All right, well, thank you. We're going to jump right in. We have a ton of great things to share with you. We're super excited to be here, and we want to make sure we have time for great engagement and conversation when we're done here with the presentation. So first of all, my name is Brittany Kuderna. I am a local native to Bismarck here. Grew up in the Dickinson area. My husband and I are both originally from Dickinson, so we'll say North Dakota natives. We were away for a little bit of time with grad school and college, but have been back in Bismarck now for close to nine years. I've been a nurse practitioner for close to 11 years now. And like I said, about 8 of those here in Bismarck. My husband's actually an entrepreneur as well, so it's crazy that I'm here sharing about this new adventure, but he's a physical therapist, a UMary alum, so lots of connections in the room here as well. And we have 4 children that are all in grade school at one school this year, so that's been fun to have one drop-off just down the road at Cathedral, and that's our life right now. We are just super busy, just loving life, adventures to come, and we're blessed with this new opportunity as a family, as a nurse practitioner, as a mission for all of us here in our community too to share. So I want to Amy, why don't you introduce yourself first, and then I'll dive into more.
I'll go really quick. I'm Amy. I live in Colorado. I'm from Arizona. I live in Colorado now, but I call Colorado my vacation home right now because I'm in Bismarck 3 weeks out of the month, every month. So it's great to be here, and I love the Bismarck community. They always convince me to try and move here, and I'm like, I just need to get through one winter and see how I feel after that. So it's great to be here. Thank you for having us.
Wonderful. And again, yes, just my deep gratitude for you guys being here. Community and coffee are like my favorite things, so this is so great. I've been in corporate healthcare for all 10 years of my career, so to be able to do something, a mission and a service like Bella, being out in the community has been so close to my heart as well, so this is so exciting to be able to do a little bit more of these types of things and engage with the community. So as I want to start and share about Bella, what is Bella Health and Wellness, and really highlight the uniqueness of this mission in this clinic and why it's different and why it's going to be, and will be a beautiful addition to our community, to all the great services that we have here, but why this mission is so important to us and to our community. So I start with this picture. This is a picture of actually the founder's daughter, that's the back of her head, but overlooking this village. This is how Bella started. Bella started it'd be about 12 years ago. The founders of Bella, a mother and daughter, women's health nurse practitioners, had started doing medical missions in the high Andes Mountains of Peru over this town. This particular village is called Ayurvedi. which may sound familiar to some of us. It's the same area that the University of Mary now also does their medical mission trips to, but Bella actually started this about 12 years ago. So they had taken a team of healthcare providers to this desolate, broken, just deserted town, village. As you can see, this is what they lived in. This was their community. So as women's health nurse practitioners in the team, they would spend some time up there, and they would have women, children, families walking for miles to seek their care. Because they hadn't gotten it anywhere. The system was broken, the town was broken, healthcare was just not a great thing there. But they knew that this team was coming, they trusted them, they wanted to receive good care while they were there, and they could. So this medical mission, this particular picture too captures not just the state of the conditions, this is what our team was serving in, right? So not a great environment. We took what we could over there for supplies and different things, but it wasn't a fancy hospital with all the amenities. We were serving in dark and cold, cold, dirty places, but doing the best that we could with the tools that we had. This particular moment, again, captures a moment of reflection, overlooking the town after a day of serving hundreds of women and just reflecting on, what are we doing here? This is hard and this is exhausting, but yet we know we're called here and this care is beautiful. But what does all of this mean? And it was in this moment of prayer and reflection that Abby and Dee Dee, our founders, had this deep, deep, deep calling that God was telling them, what you're doing here is great and beautiful, but you don't have to come all the way here to provide this great care. You can also serve the very broken and the very poor right in your home, right in your hometown, in your communities. We want you here too, but you can also take this care back home. So, of course, we're like, well, what kind of care? Like, what we're doing here isn't what we can do in America. What do you mean take this care back home? And it was that was the moment of starting Bella. The care that we're talking about is the care that encounters the whole person. It enters the story of the whole person. We enter the story. We get to know the person. We sit with them. We spend time with them. We truly, truly encounter them. That started here, and that is what Bella is doing now in all of our communities, in Denver and now in Bismarck. So Bella Health and Wellness, as a now clinic in Denver that is expanding to Bismarck, so just the second location, not a thing that's corporate and all over the place. This is just a second expansion to Bismarck. Bella Health is an independent, faith-based 501c3 nonprofit. That is how it started. That is how it always will be. Bella here in Bismarck is going to be a primary care. We're going to start with primary care, so family medicine for men, women, and children. That is a little bit different than if you look on our website or look at some of the history. Bella in Denver started, as I mentioned, with women's health, so OBGYN care. That's how Denver started. We have made, in this kind of growth and prayer and discernment, we have decided that our community, we're going to start with primary care. Again, that's for the family, right? Another important piece to what our services will include is fertility education, as that is central to families and to women, and that means women, that means families, engaged couples, young women, understanding our bodies, empowering women to understand their cycles and their fertility, and all of those pieces are central to health, holistic health. So that's included, and a really important piece to note too, as I said, we have been so focused on not just bringing Bella here, but what does Bismarck and the greater North Dakota community need? What is the need here in our community? Not just what Denver does, but what does our community need here? And the loud and very clear need here in our community has been authentic, faith-based, because that's what we are, mental health services. Has been, like I said, has been a need, and in our conversations with many of our community members. So that is something we're exploring as well, and hopeful to bring in time very soon. We'll start with primary care. Our hope is to open in December as well, but we'll hit the ground running with primary care. We hope mental health services will quickly follow. So again, to continue to dive deeper into what Bella is as a mission is simply our mission statement, to start with that. Making people whole, body, mind, and soul, by providing dignified, life-affirming care. I'll let Amy kind of dive into that a little bit more in detail.
Sure. I want to talk about our mission statement in terms of a value prop. So you might read this and you might think, okay, that sounds really good and great, but it also sounds like a lot of jargon. So what does that actually mean, and what does that actually look like? And what I would equate this to is to say this: how many of you in this room have a really good, whether it's a best friend, a sibling, a mentor, a family member, or whoever it is in your life, that you're like, if I'm ever in trouble, I know that I can call this person. This is my ride or die. I know that I can depend on this person, whether it's physically or if mentally I'm not in a good place. This is the person who I can go to. How many of you guys have that person in your life? Amazing. And that's what if I can be audacious enough to say, is really our value prop, right? From an external perspective, Bella Health and Wellness is a clinic, right? It's similar to all the other clinics in the fact that we're not providing new researched life-saving medicine. We're not a research department like St. Jude's or Children's Hospital or anything like that. But what makes us different is the conversations that we have and that we hold that are sacred to us, right? And so just like as if you're talking to a best friend versus a stranger, when you talk to a stranger, I would say, and I would probably even argue that you should be cordial or nice or friendly or whatever you want to use, but there's a lack of depth. There's a lack of, and whether that's because there's a lack of trust or a lack of just knowing the person, there's something that's different. And it might feel transactional, it might feel very surface level. But at Bella, our conversations are a little bit different, right? And I would equate that to talking to a best friend and saying, because there is a trust built there, the conversations that we hold are going to be a little more in depth. They're going to be a little more holistic in the sense of, if you are practicing a faith, can we hold that? Can we honor that? Can we respect that? If you have certain family history or illnesses or whatever, can we hold that sacred and enter that into the conversation of healthcare? And not just prescribe you medication to treat your symptoms, but can we get back to the root cause of what's actually happening in your life? And go back to the full person to make the conversations a little more in depth, to make the conversations feel like you and your whole person is being cared for, not just, again, treating your symptoms.
Great. We'll dive into that a little bit more too, with just describing, as we walk through our space, describing the details that when we talk about dignified care, we always talk about the dignity in the details. So we'll show you some of those pictures too, because I think that helps play off of what Amy just said about not just the encounter, but how do you feel when you walk into the clinic? And that's really, really important too. So let's show you the space, which this all looks super familiar to all of us, right? Just a couple steps down the road, in a building that's been in our community for forever, since 1904, actually. And so formerly the old public health building, as we all know, they have moved. UMary has now, the University of Mary now owns this building. And actually, let me hang on that point for a minute. I forgot to mention this at the beginning. Many people ask, why Bismarck? How did Bella in Denver find out about Bismarck, North Dakota? And so that the mutual connection is in part due to the University of Mary and Monsignor Shea, the president of the University of Mary. So that's an important connection, and will always be an important connection, but also partnership with Bella. And when I say partnership, what that means is Bella also has a mission to educate and teach the next generation of healthcare providers as well. So that was just a beautiful both connection, but now also part of our mission. So being in Bismarck is going to help with that, right? To be connected and close to the university. But it was Monsignor Shea who has known the founders of Bella, has been down to Bella in Denver several times in the last couple of years, and had just an extreme gratitude and just love of what Bella in Denver was doing. And so when the call came, this is an important part of the story, so sorry I'm kind of backtracking a little bit, but when the call came to the team in Denver that this is the time, now is the time to to take what you're doing here. You've built this in Denver for 10 years, almost 11 this winter. You've been doing this all really, really well here. But now I want you to take what you're doing and go out into the world and serve. And so that's when that call came to the Denver team, they had prayed on that, and they had reached out to Monsignor Shea and said, hey, we have this crazy idea. What do you think? That's how Bismarck came to be. So then Monsignor Shea said, great, I have some ideas for a location. Let's do this. And this was one of his ideas for the location. So we have looked at this building. We immediately looked at it and said, no way. It is way too big, it is way too old, it is way too ugly, all the things. But we came back to it, and we really had to use the great visions and creativity that we have and said, we can use this space. We can help bring a lot of this space back to life. And there's great life inside, don't get me wrong, there's great people in there for sure. But we want to bring more life to it. So we're going to renovate, or are renovating currently underway, a portion of the first floor. So I know this is our renderings. I know it's really hard to see, but you kind of get the gist of it. We're going to use that main entrance. I think I can go back here. We're going to use this main entrance, and you will walk right into Bella from there. So we are underway with that process, a little under 7,000 square feet, which is huge. It's way bigger than we anticipated we would do, but again, we want to have space. We want to have space to welcome you, for you to feel at home, comfortable, to have space for students, like I just talked about, that important collaboration with the university and all, any, not just the University of Mary, but any healthcare professional that might be in our community, spending time and educating, to have space to be able to welcome them in and to optimize their learning experience, right? So whether that's nurse practitioners or physicians, medical residents, mental health professionals, you name it, we will have the space built for them to learn along and practice alongside of us in the medical practice. So the space is built, and we'll show you some better pictures here for that. But yeah, that's the renderings. Amy, I'll let you kind of dive into the walkthrough.
Great. So this is really what you'll see right when you walk into our clinic. We have a lot of neutral tones to make it feel like you're walking into a home, that it's warm, that it's inviting, that you feel like this is not just another maybe stagnant or eerie clinic, but that when you walk in, it's a different experience. We have a unique scent that is specific to Bella. So again, when you walk in, it's not only, it's really playing on your 5 senses, whether it's touch or feel or smell. The experience is a little bit different when you walk in. So that's right when you walk into our clinic. Great, and then again, it's this home feel, right? So with the couches, with the fireplace, that portrait right in the middle above the fireplace will have a TV there. So again, as you walk in, there's this element of, man, we want you to feel like you can take a breath and feel like you're walking into a home, and not just another place to get a checkup or a clinic. And then this is something that I really want to highlight. When you look at this image, when you look at this rendering, there's something that stands out apart from the rest, and it's that arched doorway. And that arched doorway is really at the heartbeat of what our clinic and how our clinic was founded. And so when you walk into that doorway, you walk into the chapel. And this is a really big non-negotiable for us, is that we're a faith-based clinic, and so faith is really important to us, and it's again, the groundwork of which our clinic is built. And so we really want people to be supporting us, not only financially, but also, and most importantly, through prayer. And so, if you're a patient and you maybe just need a time to step away and say, I'm just going to sit here and pray and be with the Lord before I get called into my next clinic. I'm always reminded of Justin's story when he shares that we have this patient in Denver who is awesome, but she always tells her husband that her doctor's appointment is an hour before it actually is, and she's like, I need to get there by 8 a.m. if she has a 9 a.m. or whatever it is, and he's always like, why do you need to get there so early, or like she's like, I just need to get there at 8 a.m. And it's because this is her hour that she can actually spend in the chapel, an hour for herself to spend in time of prayer before her appointment, and to really just be at peace, to take a breath and to say, okay, Lord, whatever you have for me, I'm ready. I'm ready for it. So that will be our chapel space. And then I think there's one more. Yep. And this is what our exam rooms will look like. Right in the middle of it is supposed to be an image of a robe. So again, back to the 5 senses. We use real linen sheets and real cloth robes, again, to honor the dignity of the person. It's not paper. It's not like what you would traditionally see in a clinic. We use all of that. We will have washing machines. We will have all like real material, because again, it just goes back to when you come into our clinic, we want you to know that your soul is important to us, that how you are cared for is important to us, and every small detail that matters to us. So again, from the moment that you walk into the front to reception and how you're greeted to the moment that you get changed into a robe, every small detail along the way that matters.
And I'll just add to the example of the woman who comes out an hour early just to have peace and quiet and prayer, is that she also comes because she's welcomed with a warm cup of coffee, which you guys will appreciate. But that is, again, just welcoming you into our home, right, in that same sense. So great. All right, so challenges here. Amy, I'll let you start with the advertising piece, and then I can dive into the rest again.
Great, okay. So I would say our kind of biggest challenges are twofold. One is advertising Bella organically. So as a nonprofit, we fundraise most of our well, I would say 18 to 20% of our operating costs are actually fundraised. And because of that, we don't have a ton of room to market Bella as a traditional corporate America company would. So what we've been doing, which has, by the grace of God, has worked really well in Denver, and what we're doing right now in Bismarck is just trying to get Bella out through word of mouth, right? So coming to organizations like 1 Million Cups, going all around North Dakota. I've been from the far east to all the way to the far west, just trying to see if people would care to listen to what Bella has to offer, to see if they would identify with how they have interacted with healthcare previously, and if there's another opportunity for them in the space of healthcare. So I would say that's our biggest challenges. We're a team of 3, I would say, myself, Brittany, and Andrea, and North Dakota is large. There's a lot of land, and there's a lot of people, so just trying to get the word out organically,
Yeah, and in that same sense too, of course, our community I guess, contrary to that, is also small, right? We're a small, tight-knit community, which is a beautiful thing. So coming in and saying, great, we're going to open this new healthcare facility, that comes with a great a responsibility, I would say, to do it well, and to share that, again, like I had mentioned, being a native of North Dakota and Bismarck particularly, I have such great gratitude and respect for our healthcare organizations that are already here and have been here for years, hundreds of years. That goes all the way back to with celebrating the sisters and bringing healthcare here 140 years ago. That's all of this, everything that we do, that we do, because I feel like I've been raised by our healthcare providers and organizations in the community that are here, is attributed to that, right? So they have raised us as healthcare providers, and we want to be a partner with our community. In no way do we want to compete or be a threat, and we want that to be known. We are going to enter the community and be welcomed. We're not forcing our way here. We've been, invited and welcomed to be an addition and a great partner in our community. So we want that message to be really clear as well, that we need the hospitals, we need the specialists, we need the surgeons, we need everybody that is already here in both systems, or all 3 systems, to just continue to make healthcare great. So we're a partner in that way.
Awesome. And then I'll finish up really quick. Why a clinic needs to fundraise? You might ask that. Why healthcare? Especially a clinic like us, why we need to fundraise. And this is what I would say is that I could go on an hour-long monologue of our insurance battles and how right, the game of insurance is to pay out as little as possible. And so as we have seen that in an independent clinic, the payout is even less, right? And so there's what we call a mission gap in what insurance pays out and what we need to cover. So that's part of our operating costs that we need to fundraise, is just to make up that difference in what insurance pays out and what we need to fund ourselves. The second is this, and this is really true to, this is what I'm like really passionate about, is we not only want to be a clinic, we want to be a clinic that's on mission. And what does it mean to be on mission? Is that we want to be integrated into the community. We want to serve the community. And so our flagship clinic in Denver, we have a lot of partnerships with the Archdiocese of Denver, where we send out our physicians to go to their building and to serve our clergy and to serve our faculty there. We go out to a partnership that we have with Catholic Charities called Marisol Homes to serve women who are often underserved, they're uninsured or underinsured, and we care for pregnant mothers there. We send physicians out there as well. And there's this element where we are, as Jesus calls us, to get out of the boat and to be on mission. During COVID, this is probably my favorite part, is during COVID, when all of the hospitals and a lot of the companies were shutting down, and they were saying, unless it's urgent or COVID related, it can wait. But the thing about healthcare is that sometimes we have needs that can't wait. And so Bella was part of the front line that said, let's care for patients the best way that we can, the best way that we know how to. And so if a woman or someone was immunocompromised, we had this drive-through, if you'll say, clinic, that basically people would come up in their cars, and we would send our physicians outside and treat those women or treat those people who were immunocompromised in their cars. And that was our way of giving back to the community, of serving our community, even in the midst of a pandemic.
Another example of that partnership too, and serving those in need is partnerships here, like with the Women's Care Center, for example. So women and families, for that matter, that enter care there that maybe don't have the means to pay. That's again referring to this mission gap, right? So families that can't pay. We're not a free clinic, but if a woman is vulnerable in that space of considering an abortion or whatever it might be, or life happens to all of us, right? And we might find ourselves, you never know, in one day in a space that you just cannot make that payment or that bill. That's a good example of serving the community when that family or that person needs us. And that is where, again, that mission gap comes from.
Right. So I think we have some time for a Q&A.
Sure.
All right, Ross, grab that microphone. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I can grab that. Kind of a logistical question, with kind of the mothership in Denver. What does the leadership look like? I know your mission's maybe your services are a little bit different here. The mission is the same, obviously, but how does that leadership work between Denver and Bismarck, or is that still kind of evolving?
Yeah, well, it'll probably evolve for sure. But to start with, so Bella, again, as a nonprofit, has a board of directors, and that is the authority over the nonprofit. So that board of directors is made up of 12 roughly individuals, give or take, but across the United States. So, and of all different backgrounds, finance and medicine and faith-based and all kinds of different wonderful, very smart people. That board of directors will oversee all of Bella, including Bismarck for now. We're in the process of building an advisory board and adding a local Bismarck member to the board of directors as well. So that'll be kind of our governing, authority, but then also our direct leadership right here will actually just be me as clinic director.
Cool, thank you. Arnie.
Well, first of all, thank you for the presentation. Could you, at a high level, just kind of walk through some of the services that you're going to provide? Because that would kind of give us an idea of what you're looking at providing to the local community.
Yeah, no, that's a great question to clarify. So, and I just said it quickly too, and didn't dive into it. But so when we say primary care, that means family medicine, right? So, or they can be interchangeable. But again, that includes care for men, women, and children. So primary care is that person that you go to for anything, and sometimes go to first when you don't know where to go, right? So, so annual exams, well child checks, sports physicals, yearly GYN exams. Those are typically what would say primary care is maybe most well known for, but that also includes anything acute or chronic. So chronic disease, hypertension, diabetes, cholesterol issues, anything of that sort. Acute services, I have a cold, I got a urinary tract infection, I just found out I'm pregnant, right? Any of those circumstances that you would, again, just think of like, where do you go first? Before, if I don't know I need a referral, I don't know where to go if I need a referral, that's maybe a good example of primary care.
Thank you. Shania.
Hello. So you also mentioned, so part of this came about because of the partnership with Monsignor. So could you talk a little bit about the teaching element of it? So because we've toured the facility, the nursing facility out there, and I know they have a clinic where people come to them, but this is they're going to be in your space. So if you could just talk a little bit more about
exactly. Yeah, the clinic on campus is wonderful too, but and the nurses are a part of that, but it largely has a lot of therapy services too. So this will be just a great added benefit or another option for medical students. So again, nurses, but also nurse practitioners. So the nurse practitioner graduate program is a large part, and obviously that's central to my practice as well. But that being another component or department of the health sciences at the university. So that's actually how I got to teaching and working at the University of Mary for the last 5 years, as well as because I had students in the clinic with me day in and day out, and I just loved it. There's no better way to teach and really form a future healthcare professional than just having them side by side with you, walking through your day and encountering the patients with you. And whether they're a first year and they're just observing and sitting back and listening, or they're a third year, I'm speaking to nurse practitioner students specifically, and you kind of hand them the reins, but under a lot of guidance for sure. That's learning I really think to the best potential. Yet what's happening on campus in classrooms across the health sciences is so critical to their formation and education. So I think of it as taking what's happening in the classroom to applying it in the field. And that will be great across nurses, nurse practitioners, like I said, really all disciplines.
Yes.
Hi. This is wonderful. I think it's great that our community has another option when it comes to healthcare. I'm wondering if you could speak a little more specifically about what it means that you're faith-based. I'm assuming you mean the Catholic faith, since you've mentioned University of Mary, but if I'm incorrect, please let me know. And what does that look like in practice for your patients and for your practitioners? Do your practitioners have to be Catholic? How does that all work? What does that look like?
Yeah, I love that question. Do you want to start with it?
Sure. I would say on a I don't know if you want to dive into this a little bit more, but on a very surface level, we follow all of what are called ethical and religious directives of the Catholic Church. And so we fully stand, and we're actually a wing of the USCCB, the United States of Catholic Conference of Bishops. And so if you actually go on their website, we are the only ones listed as the Catholic healthcare. But what I would say with that is you don't have to be Catholic or really of any faith to come and receive care. In fact, our flagship clinic in Denver, only 50% of our patients are Catholic or Christian. And so a lot of times our patients find us because we're listed right at the top of insurance. Like if you look up insurance or clinics or where to go to, Bella is normally listed at the top, and some find us through that, some find us through word of mouth. And so I would say it doesn't matter what faith you have or if you don't have it, you're always welcome at our clinic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as providers or employees of the clinic as well, it's very similar in the sense that we welcome anybody. But the number one thing is that that anybody who is a part of Bella is on mission, is in alignment with the mission, right? And so that I guess is number one. And then we talk through, I guess, when we get into some of the logistics, like we talked about, still being in accordance with the church, is there are some specifics where things that we don't do would be, for example, is prescribing birth control. However, it's not just we don't do this, it's look at all the other things that we can do, and exploring, again, the root causes. Amy had touched on that a little bit, so that gets into a whole world of conversation, but offering women in that case, or any other example, alternatives that probably are actually better for the body, right? And digging into more of a root cause and treating and restoring the body versus using something that maybe is whether that's a moral or ethical objection, or just maybe not the healthiest thing for your body. So we have to be on mission in that way, but that can be Catholic, Christian, or any faith.
Thank you.
Does that
Good
answer
question.
that question? Yeah, thank you.
Hi, thank you so much for the presentation. So I work for a local nonprofit here, and we deal a lot with, mental behavioral health issues. And you said you had spoken with the community and identified this as a huge need. Mm-hmm. Can you expand a bit more on what your mental health capabilities are? Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, that is definitely evolving by the minute. We have conversations every week with different healthcare providers, some who are, whether it's in collaboration with the University of Mary and what the students' needs are, that's kind of where this maybe originated from, was the great need of our young population, specifically those on campus and the needs of them, but also then, yes, that's the similar in the community. And I think it stems from maybe we need more, right? We need more recognition, more inclusion of the mental health discussions, and whether that's starting in primary care, but then resources and referral sources. So increasing that and offering that, again, similar to what we were just talking about with that faith-based component. That's maybe a piece too that the community has recognized that there might be a little bit of a lacking in, is that authentic faith-based counseling. So I can't describe, I'm not a mental health professional at all, so I can't describe exactly what that looks like in a one-on-one session, but if that patient or client is wanting to incorporate that into their care, then that might be a place where that is welcomed, and maybe you dive into that a little bit more. So those, I guess that's the overview of that. What the actual professionals or the staff might look like, we're in conversation right now with counselors, with a psychiatrist, and would hope to grow into include psychologists too, to kind of cover. I know that's there's unique capabilities to each of those professionals too. So to have a team that can serve with really excellent care would be important. So I can't say this is what we have so far, because those are still evolving, like I said, by the day. But that's our hope, is to do that. And it might be potentially having a site on campus or something. We're not sure, but those are ideas, and those are conversations happening.
I liked your comment about a partner rather than necessarily competition, and I've always thought that healthcare is different than a lot of other services for a lot of reasons. One, it's a lot more personal. It's not like getting an oil change, right? Mm-hmm. And also with the insurance realities and things like that. So because it's not an oil change, I think that personalized care, that feeling that we got when we saw your lobby and all of that really resonates. And I'm wondering, does that, and maybe in Denver it already has, but does that serve as a little bit of an example maybe for other healthcare facilities and professionals that might kind of bring that more of that dignity back? Not that it isn't there to a degree, but yeah, sometimes healthcare can feel like getting an oil change, and mm-hmm. a little less personal, or a little less, because it's, healthcare is really personal and important, and
mm-hmm.
Way more important than most things. So
mm-hmm.
do you see opportunities, have that happen in Denver, or is that kind of part of that maybe community impact that you might have?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that question. And this is what I would say is as Bella has grown in the almost 11 years that we've been operating, we've gone through a lot of ups and downs and challenges and hardships. And what we've come to realize is that we don't want to gatekeep all of this information. We don't want to hold it in. We want people to know and be a resource for people. And so we actually have a mentorship program with other independent clinics who are trying to start their own clinics, but are running into these hiccups along the way. And so right now in Denver, we're working with about 16 different independent healthcare clinics that are like, we want to do this. We want to do what you're doing, and we want to provide this great, authentic, dignified healthcare, we're just stuck. We're really stuck and we don't know how to operate. Could you show us the way? And so we've been meeting with them, we've been mentoring them in finances and what does it look like to medicalize and what does it look like to be operational and stuff like that. So it's a great question, and I think people deserve good quality healthcare. So how can we open the doors a little bit, and not to say that we're the end all be all, but to be a resource for people to say, if you need help, let us share our wisdom, and you can take that with a grain of salt.
Well, thank you. We have run out of time, although Ross has a final question for you too, and I'm going to let Ross do that. Go ahead.
That's the best part about this. I get to do the last question.
Perfect.
So thank you guys for your presentation. Thank you for coming to our community and offering the services that you are. So what can we as the 1 Million Cups community do to help you to succeed?
I think immediately what comes to mind, and I don't know if you have anything different, Brittany, but what I would say is we want to be integrated into the community. We want to serve the community, and so we want to learn from you guys as entrepreneurs or as business owners or as people in Bismarck owning and operating businesses. To also learn from you guys. And we have our flagship clinic, but also our clinic in Bismarck is unique in its own way. It will have its own challenges, will have its own ups and downs. And so we want to learn from you who have been established here, who have been in the community, to know what works well, what are the hiccups that you guys have run into, just in our own community, in the greater North Dakota community as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, exactly. I think that's important. And yeah, being a team, we're all a team in the community together to serve our community. So that's, I think, speaks really well to that. Just keep us in your thoughts and prayers if that's something you can do. As like I said, it's a challenge. It's a challenge in many, many ways to start a practice and to do it really, really well and to serve our community well. And it is a nonprofit, for sure. You guys, many of you recognize and know the challenges that entails.
All right. Well, let's give these guys a round of applause.
Thank you.
If that building looked familiar to some of you, that is where we had our end-of-year 1 Million Cups celebration last year, up on the second floor, but right up above the space where you guys are at, we had our end-of-year party up there. So great location,
Yeah.
and as we talked, easy for you to walk to 1 Million Cups now, right? So
Absolutely.
always recruiting, yeah. Yes, and along those lines, we had a lot of new people here today. Thank you for being here. Hopefully you will become regulars. And so what we've got coming up, we've got Bismarck Riverfront Development is going to be speaking with us next week. On the 24th, we've got Dan Belinsky talking about a new movie that is coming out called Hazel. And that's going to be really exciting. And in fact, that movie's opening, I think, like the next day or 2 days later or something. So that's going to be fun to see. And then we're kind of wrapping up our AI series on October 1st. We're going to be trying to look into the future a little bit of AI and try to, what's that? And Faith is here today. So yes, wonderful. So anyway, we're gonna have some fun with that. I don't think anyone knows for sure, but I see that as kind of a conversation that we're gonna have a little bit. We're gonna bounce some ideas off of each other as far as, and Faith is gonna share her thoughts on what's next with AI. Where is this going? And so I think that's gonna be very, very cool. And if anybody you know would like to get on this stage and present, these are the ways to get a hold of us, or you can just find one of us with a name badge and talk to us. We've got around, I think, 4 openings yet for this year before we take the holiday season off. So please see us. We'd love to get you on stage. And I think that's all I've got. You guys enjoy the rest of your week, and thank you again for being here.